UK households are at risk of falling into fuel poverty by the end of October, when the average energy bill soars even higher than first predicted to more than £3,000.
Well, earlier we spoke to one of the organisers of a campaign group who are calling for people to stop paying their energy bills altogether if companies don't lower their prices.
I think we have to look at the system and how it's set up and look at the vast profits that have been made by the energy suppliers, the energy companies, and think, OK, that money could be redistributed. There is no need for these extortionate energy bills. There's too many people in this country who cannot afford, now having to make this choice between heating and eating, and that's not acceptable.
Martin joined us now. Martin, that's something that has been said for a long time now, that choice between heating and eating. It's not getting any easier, is it? What do you make of this campaign, Don't Pay UK?
Well, look, I started predicting this would happen. I think I first talked about it back in May, and so I'm unsurprised that it's started to coalesce, because the biggest single response I've had from people when I've been talking online about the financial catastrophe that is coming this winter is people responding, what if we don't pay? So it was only waiting to happen for a group to get together to start to organise that. Now, I think the best way to approach this is that to be seen as a substantial warning sign to the government that more action is needed. Not paying is a form of civil unrest. It is a technically unlawful protest. And it's a protest that is akin to what happened to the poll tax, when people simply said, this is not fair, we will not pay. And I understand the strength of feeling out there. The discussion of who makes profits is actually trickier than saying energy companies make excess profits. The energy retailers, the people that we pay, are generally selling at a loss. That's why so many of them have gone bust. And the price cap is designated on them only having a relatively small margins. It's the energy wholesalers, the oil and gas producers who are making the excess profits, which makes it even more complicated, because it's not the people we're directly paying who are making the excess profits, it's the people that they're paying, although in some cases they're what's called vertically integrated, so they're the same firm. So it is a little bit more complicated. I hope we don't get to that. I hope this is seen as a warning to government that the rise in the price cap, which is likely to be 65% in October, that's 65% on top of the 54% we've already had, taking somebody on a typical bill, and that's just a totem, but it's a good idea, to £3,240 from the current £1,971, from the £1,277 that we were last October. In other words, a £2,000 rise. Going up again in January is the prediction to about £3,350. And next April, when we thought it would come down, and while I am more crystal ball gazing here, the likelihood is next April, if it comes down, it'll only be a few percent. It will still be equivalent to £1,000 a year more than where we are now. That isn't sustainable. And those numbers are so much higher than we saw in May, when then Chancellor Rishi Sunak, thankfully, and I thought it was a good package, put out up to £1,200 help for the poorest homes. Now, he said at the time, I will do more if more is needed. Unfortunately, we are now in the position where the government is saying we can't make any substantial decisions. And the biggest problem with this is timing. You know, I hope if Rishi Sunak is the one in that party who's elected, he will live up to that promise. But he may not be the one, and that promise does not bind Liz Truss. And I haven't heard her what say, apart from reducing green levies, which would be relatively small, what she would do about this. And what you have to understand is a question of timing. We will know what the new price cap will be officially towards the end of August. That will crystallise the point at which people get their direct debit letters or emails telling them they're going up by 65%. That will be happening almost exactly around the 5th of September when we have a new Prime Minister. And frankly, it is probably too late then to stop it. So we need action sooner, but there is the frustration that we do not have a government in the place that it can make decisions that are this substantial. And that is deeply frustrating. And the situation this winter is deeply worrying.
It absolutely is. And as you say, you know, government action clearly key on this. What about other things that people can do? I've got someone's got in touch, C. Evans, on email saying if you're a direct debit customer, the majority of customers are in credit anyway. Most energy businesses make a fortune on monies that they hold in credit. Are there things that people can do to sort of change the way they pay, or you know, what's the answer on a personal level?
The problem is direct debit is the cheapest. And a lot of people have been saying one of the solutions is you stop paying direct debit and you go to payment in receipt of bills, because then you're in control. Except the price cap is £1,970 for typical use on direct debit. It's £2,100 if you pay in receipt of bills. So, you know, you're talking that substantially increased cost if you do that. So you have to balance the cash flow over the cost. And yes, if you're one of the lucky ones to be in substantially credit, too much credit, you can ask for it back. Although right now, if you're on the price cap, prices are going to rise so substantially. There's an argument for saying we're getting so close to that point. Let it happen, because it will help your cash flow in the just devastating financial cataclysm that is coming this winter if we don't get more help. Look, you can cut your usage. You can check what support measures you're entitled to. If you're in energy debt, you can apply to some of the energy companies' trusts that are out there. You can go through and start to measure what you're going on. I mean, what we should be doing is mass installation of homes in this country for some of the poorest households. Yeah. That's the biggest single win that we can do. But frankly, all of these are just teetering at the edge. And I've said before, when it comes to energy and the poorest homes, I am mostly out of tools. Right. And that's why when and I hope this isn't self-aggrandizing, when the money-saving expert who's been doing this for 20 years and focusing on energy for 20 years, when I'm getting to the point when I'm saying there's not much more people can do, that's when you take it out of the money management sphere and you put it into the political sphere. And it's up to politicians are going to have to fix this one.
Well, let's hope they can step up. Martin, it's always great to get you on the show and get your thoughts. Thank you for joining us. If you have been affected by debt issues, you can find advice and support itv.com/helplines.